Welcome to this episode of Success Innovation. Today's episode, get out of your cave, explore the world. Welcome back to the Success Innovation Podcast. Thank you for joining me today. It's a very special podcast because I have a very special guest today with us. So we have Bryan Gonzalez, and he's a student from Southwestern Community College. Hello, Bryan. Thank you for joining me in Success Innovation Podcast. Can you please tell us a little bit about who you are, a little bit about your background?
Well, I'm from Southwestern College. I'm 21 years old. I'm Hispanic, Latino. I'm into my major is mechanical engineering. I kind of just started my first year. This is my first year. I'm going barely into my second year. I started at spring this year, and I just joined SHIP last semester. Well, a club.
Okay.
At Southwestern College. SHIP.
So SHIP is Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And that's what's gotten me here so far.
Okay, so you mentioned that you're a mechanical engineer. That's your major of choice.
Correct.
How many years have you been in Southwestern for?
I'm barely finishing my first year.
You're barely finishing your first year. Why did you choose mechanical engineering?
Well, since I was little, I was looking, when I thought of mechanical engineering, I was thinking of like cars.
Okay.
Since I was like mechanic.
Because more of a mechanic that
yeah.
kind of made sense for you. Okay.
Correct, yeah.
Right.
Since I was little, I love cars. And
Okay.
in automotive, I was like, nah, I don't want to do like, that's more like a hobby part. I want to see how more like a car works, how gears work. I know they teach you that in automotive, but I wanted to go more like, I want to build a car.
Okay.
Not like a street car.
Okay.
But like if I can go to BMW, start building cars, for example.
So you want to work at BMW or some automotive company?
Correct.
That's your ultimate goal? Okay.
That's one of them.
That's one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. Is there any other option, or is just automotive that's your main goal, and that's what you're trying to focus your mechanical career on?
That was when I was into mechanical engineering.
Okay.
But as I started going more into math and stuff like that, having more ideas, and I started playing around with some software-defined radios.
Okay.
And I like astronomy too. I don't know. I'm going all over the place. And
okay. So right now you're kind of all over the place.
I'm all over the place.
Okay. All right. So I'm assuming that this whole process from graduating high school and going into a community college has kind of left you in this nebulous state, correct?
Yes. When I graduated from high school in 2016.
Okay.
And I took a break. And I didn't know what's first. As soon as I got out of high school, I didn't know. I didn't want to go to school.
Okay.
I went straight to just working, warehouse full time, and I was not really interested in school. But that was just working was not my thing. I went back to school, and it took me a couple months to like. I wanted to do philosophy. I wanted to do sociology. I wanted to do mechanical engineering.
So you're just exploring the different majors that you could actually see where you fit in and find yourself more or less, right?
Correct.
How long did you spend from graduation until you went back to school? So how long was that lapse of time?
Around 2 years and a half.
2 years. So you spent 2 years without going back to school. What did you find it hard coming back to a community college or going back to school?
They made it easy right after high school. In high school, they made it easy for you to go from high school to college.
Right.
But when you don't have no more resources,
yeah,
it's a bit more complicated. You have to go ask like specific people. Go into school. They'd send you, go to this, go to the administration, go to this, go to that, go online. And I think that messes up a lot of people trying to go into college.
So they made it a little harder.
Correct.
Coming back, not going straight from high school into community college, it was a little difficult for you.
Correct. And
okay.
They made me since I was like in DACA, like a little.
Okay. Right.
It made
special program.
Yeah,
okay.
They made me sign.
Dreamers Act, right?
Correct.
Okay.
They made me sign some AB 540, some stuff like that, and I have to wait like 2 weeks, stuff like that. It just makes the process longer, and then sometimes I guess people kind of like lose interest. They're like, you know what, I'm losing, like probably they have more space. So
you stuck with it?
I was stuck with it for like a month and a half. Okay. I was like, trying to just to get into school, you know?
Okay. Did you feel at any point during that time when you were applying back to school, did you feel unmotivated? Did you feel like, okay, this maybe is not really worth my time, I'm going to stop? Or obviously you kept going.
I had a strong
What made you keep going?
the way I was living. I didn't minimum wage. I was like, now if it takes 2 months, 3 months just to go back to school, it's fine.
You had that goal in mind because
Correct.
you had already experienced working full time and earning minimum wage.
Correct.
Okay. All right. So when was it that you decided to go back to school, and in school in Southwestern that you said, I'm going to be a mechanical engineer?
Around October last year.
Okay, October last year.
Yeah, and then by December I was like, okay. I had told him, I had given him 2 weeks already at work. I'm like, I'm gonna go back to school. Everybody was proud of me.
Okay,
But-
great. How did that make you feel?
Great. Everybody's like, like everybody. Well, obviously nobody has. When I was working in a warehouse and nobody had experience with school. Like everybody didn't. I mean, some of them finished high school, but most of them were proud of me, and most of them like, we hope we don't see you back here. We hope to see you.
We hope we don't see you back here.
But-
we hope that you make it and you graduate.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, awesome.
And
So from that support from your work mates, was there anybody that you feel and are still in contact with?
yeah, some friends I made some good friends right there where I work. They live close by. They ask me how I am here and there.
Okay.
And I hang out with them once here and there too. And I've made good friends. I was working there for 2 years, and I made good friends. And they always ask me every time I hang out with them, oh, how's school and everything?
Okay.
How's it going?
Okay. All right. So now that you've been in Southwestern Community College, what has made it easier, if I could say it that way, to lay a foundation for your path to follow? Does that make sense?
Correct. Well, little.
So my question is, has there been anything that you've done or any organization that has helped you figure out the path that you want to trace and follow easier?
Well, right there at SHIP, they kind of lead me into like, okay, what's mechanical engineering? Of course. But I think I found out my way, like, okay, I know what I want to do.
Okay.
I have like 3 options: building cars for BMW or another company, or working with the radio stations. Not
Radio stations?
Radio communication.
Okay.
Or I don't know. I blanked out right now.
Okay.
But I have a couple ideas. But I just started school. I'm barely in low math and stuff like that.
Okay.
I'm doing generals, but I
So
think
you're taking math and you're starting to take more of the general eds at this point.
correct.
And once you graduate from community college, you're gonna do 2 years or 3 years, and what your goal is to transfer to any particular school?
UCSD.
UCSD. Okay. Why do you want to go to UCSD?
I know it was between San Diego State University or UCSD,
Okay.
and they told me that UCSD is more like a research school, and San Diego State is more like get your degree and you're good.
Okay. All right.
And so since I always wanted, like, I'm a kind of person that wants to know more and more and more.
Okay.
And once they get into a topic, I want to know like more into it.
So that's what you decided
More
and
research.
put your goal into UCSD because it's more of a research
Correct.
university, more of a research institution, and you might be interested in that, right?
Yeah,
Okay. All right. Okay. So I'm assuming you've actually delved into and probably talked to the counselors at Southwestern College, and you already know what the requirements are to be able to get in there.
Yes,
correct?
yes. The counselors made it very easy what kind of classes to take, and if you're trying to transfer from one school, these are the requirements, and from this school, this is what other requirements they need, but not this school. And so UCSD requires a couple more classes, history and stuff like that. I don't know why.
Okay. So they have a little bit different requirements versus San Diego State.
Correct.
Okay. So let's go back a little bit to, you mentioned SHIP, Society of Hispanic Professional Engineers.
Correct.
What have you benefit from that organization?
I've met a couple people that I never thought I would know.
Okay.
Back then, I didn't know anyone. I have friends, but none of them are like engineers.
Okay. Okay.
And getting into ship, I'm talking to more like people in engineering businesses, and people that have the same interests as me.
Okay.
And I know probably in the future, I just know it gets me more with people that are interested in the same future as me.
So you start building more of a network, a connection with individuals like-minded that have already gone through school, are now in an engineering position, and you can definitely ask questions about what they went through, hardships or obstacles that they've overcome, how they actually got into the company that they've actually are working on now, and what it took for them to get there, right?
Correct. And
Okay.
some of the people from ship are also tutors.
Okay.
And it's easier. Back then, I didn't go to tutoring, and meeting these people.
When you say back then in high school?
Back then in high school,
Okay.
like there was tutoring, but I didn't go to because I was
Okay.
not really into it.
It was not your priority.
Correct, and
Okay.
I didn't want to go to school after college.
Okay.
But now that I know these people because they're in my club and they're also tutoring, it makes it easier for me to understand my math and my chemistry.
Okay.
And so it's not just the club, but just meeting the people,
Right.
and so getting more comfortable. Like it's kind of like they're passing their knowledge,
Okay.
and it's easier for them because if we talk and stuff, you talk about one subject, but I talk about one subject, or someone I don't know, I'm not going to be really interested. But if my friend and me are interested in the same subject,
Right.
whatever he understands perfectly, then he can pass the same information to me, and it's
Okay.
easier that way.
So what you're saying, and I understand, let me say if I'm correct, when you're surrounded by like-minded individuals, you become stronger because they lift you up, because whatever they're doing, somehow they might know a special trick or a shortcut of sorts, and they might be able to share that and pass it on to you, and it might make your life a lot easier for a certain class.
Correct.
Is that correct? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So with that being said, there's got to be a point in your life when you are working and all of a sudden you said, you know what, this is not for me. This whole warehouse thing, the whole minimum wage is not for me. What is that point? Can you pinpoint it right now?
I surely can.
Okay, you sure you can. Okay.
A worker of mine, we were just, I remember, because we used to load trucks, I'm not going to say the company.
Okay.
We used to load trucks for a company, and I remember just one day he was just like, we're just being all philosophical, and we're just like laying back, and we're like, what are we doing with our lives, you know? We're just
Okay.
loading trucks for...
Was he your same age?
Yeah, like 3-4 years older than me.
Okay.
And we were just looking at it and we're like, it looks like a prison, you know? We're going to be here the rest of our lives working 30-40 years for the same guy
Right.
or same person for minimum wage, and we're going to be here complaining every day.
Okay.
And that's when I was realizing, I was like, that's true. Like, I don't want to do that. Either in this company or another company. I want to do more than minimum wage, and I want to do something that I want to do.
Okay. Okay. So that's the turning point for you.
Correct.
You can pinpoint it to that conversation where you flipped the switch and you said, I want to do more than this.
Correct.
And I have the potential to pursue it.
Correct.
Okay.
That made me realize, I was like, I don't want this lifestyle.
Okay. All right. Now that you're in Southwestern and that you're more involved with like-minded individuals, what obstacles have you encountered?
Well, I have sometimes, I don't have like learning disability, but sometimes it's...
And I don't mean learning
No,
disabilities.
no.
I mean, like, obviously you share with us that you didn't really have a mentor or a guide in your family that is, and I mean, you don't have a family member that's an engineer or a professional for that matter. So that made it hard for you. Is there anything else similar to that you've encountered as an obstacle and that you say, well, okay, I was able to overcome it, and if you can share with the audience what that might be and how you overcame that?
Yeah, having no friends in engineering or anything like that is kind of difficult to kind of know what are you going to do next, you know? Being in the ship club, they kind of tell you, oh, this, and that. They want to do certain stuff. For example, like last semester, we wanted to build a robotics team.
Okay.
But all of us were like taking general still, and we're not really that high up in our classes.
Okay.
So that was kind of complicated. But thing is, I think for me, my biggest obstacle was kind of realizing what am I gonna do next, or if I take mechanical engineering, where can I go? For me, like I know, like I wanted to work in cars.
Okay.
But like, who do I talk to?
Right.
Correct.
Right.
Who do I talk to? Like, I want to work in cars, or I want to work with anything. Who do I talk to about it? Like, would I step into like, or kind of get to know someone?
Okay.
So when I so I can get more motivated.
Okay. Okay. So SHIP has opened the doors to that possibility, correct?
Correct, and it should open more.
Okay, it should open more. Okay. Is there anything that you can recall or share with us that SHIP has provided you with, and that you think, this has been an awesome opportunity that I didn't even think that I was going to be able to come to this corporation, company, or even meet this individual?
When I was in solar turbines,
Yeah.
I'm a like go for green, like
Okay.
go kind of renewable energy.
Right.
And when back then I've heard of solar turbines. My high school had a kind of like an internship program with solar turbines.
All right.
So when I heard of with SHIP, I was having like a general body meeting
Yeah.
as solar turbines. I was like, well, I'm going.
Okay.
And that's where I met you, and that's where I met someone, the HR.
Okay.
And they gave me the steps, like, first you gotta have, like, for example, the HR told me, you gotta have your bachelor's, of course.
Okay.
And then you gotta have some projects, because if you don't have any projects, if you just have good grades,
Right.
we're interested in the person that has kind of like experience with
It's a well-rounded individual.
Correct.
Okay, so let me stop you right there for a second. So, listen, he said he went to a meeting, and he was able to go into a corporation, Solar Turbines in this case, right? And he was able to meet human resources. Correct? Okay. This is at a personal level. He met human resources without necessarily going to a career fair, or without being in that pressured state of, I want to impress somebody at this point. But he was prepared. So you spoke to human resources, and you got firsthand insight, firsthand information as to how to better prepare yourself to follow through to, in the future, be one of the first individuals to be able to apply and to have the minimum requirements to actually be able to apply to a position within that corporation. Correct?
Correct. Yeah. She told me a couple stuff. Have good grades.
Okay.
Of course.
Obviously.
Have projects.
Okay.
She told me have projects. Says if you have just good grades and you have any experience, we'd rather have someone with experience and good grades.
Okay.
Honestly, I don't know why. I didn't ask her too much, but that was one thing that right here with SHIP, that's what we're trying to do.
Right.
Obviously, because we're trying to build like little robots.
Right.
Well, we tried to do last semester. We tried to build a drone.
Right.
To kind of put it as in a resume.
Okay.
Kind of have experience with mechanical engineering or electrical.
Right.
Or computer science.
So basically, first-hand experience with building a project or carrying out a project and following through with it, the steps and what it takes to actually deliver a product and show results, whether they're fine or they work or they don't. At least you learn. It's a learning process. So even a failure is a learning process, and you can definitely benefit off of it.
Yeah, and it gives us experience to what to do next semester.
Yes.
So if we're trying to do it again, what to do and what not to do.
Okay, all right. So you mentioned robotics, and I want to acknowledge you because you volunteered when I asked for volunteers to go ahead and help at Rancho Del Rey, a local middle school here in Chula Vista, and you're one of the individuals that accepted the challenge. So I want to thank you for that.
Thanks.
How do you feel now that you've been involved in this robotics mentorship at Rancho Del Rey with the youngest students, and now that you're being a mentor?
Well, it was pretty exciting. Back when I was in middle school, we had like 6-7 people in our robotics team, and nobody was really interested into me, and I was really into the robots, and so we had like this kind of when you guys go against other schools.
Okay, competition.
Right? But it was not really that serious because there was nobody in the club.
Right.
And I wish that we had a lot of people.
You wish that you had more people in there.
Correct.
Okay.
And now that I go to this middle school right here, Rancho Del Rey, and I see a bunch of kids, I'm like, wow, I wish I had this when I was.
So you fed off their energy.
Correct.
Okay.
And they know their stuff. They know their stuff.
They know their stuff. Okay. So does it make you proud that you're able to give back and help the students and share with them what you're learning from some of the classes that you've taken and actually be hands-on with the robots now?
Correct. Yeah. They know their stuff too, like gear ratios and stuff like that.
Okay.
They know like how a smaller gear or bigger gear or more torque, more speed. They know their stuff. Some of the kids know more than me with the programming, coding, and that's a new experience for me because back then it was just more of a simple thing, kind of like
blocks.
Yeah,
little drag and drop blocks, change a couple variables,
correct,
and make sure that worked. And now they're more free coding with Robot C and the actual line coding.
Correct. And I don't have much history with coding it, but the way I'm like, it's just crazy nowadays how these kids can program. I saw there was like 190 lines of code, and I was like, whoa.
So you decided at that point to focus more on the mechanical part.
Mechanical more than the computer science.
Well, it is what your major is. So you're more of a mechanical individual. So obviously you're going to go more mechanical. So that's understandable. Is there anything that you think that you need at this point in order to move forward and be a better person in school, better engineer, better at what you're trying to achieve?
What do you mean exactly?
So is there any habits that you believe that you might need to change to become more successful in your career?
I think I procrastinate too much sometimes.
You procrastinate too much. Okay.
And I kind of leave some, I try not to leave some stuff towards the end. I mean, I'm good at it, but I'd rather not do it. As soon as they ask me for a task, I try to do it on time. I try to do it right there and then.
Okay.
And not leave it to the last minute. And procrastinating has left me in a lot of trouble sometimes.
So have you noticed yourself changing that habit?
Correct, yes.
Okay. How have you started to change the habit?
As soon as, for example, at my house, do something, boom, do it right there and then. Right there in a minute. No, I started doing, I asked to get something done at the house, something simple.
Yeah.
Boom, just do it right there and then.
Okay.
Homework, if it's Monday and it's due on Friday, don't do it on Thursday night. Don't do it on Wednesday night. Start when you get home. Well, as soon as you get home, just finish it. Try to get over it. So that Tuesday and Wednesday, you have time to review what you've done. Try to make some changes.
So that's a very important point that you bring up, the procrastination, and that you started changing that.
Correct.
At what point did you decide to make the switch? Was it progressive or was it instantaneous? How did you come up with it?
Well, back when I was my first semester in school, we had like 3 pages due of each chapter. And it was due like on a Wednesday, and I would start like on Monday night because Tuesday I would go to work. And so I was like, I gotta do this like if it's due on Wednesday. If they gave it to us on Wednesday and it's due next Wednesday, I gotta start on Thursday.
Right.
And so I have the weekend to review and stuff like that.
Okay.
But I mean, I got faster at writing chapter reviews.
Okay.
But the thing is, sometimes when I go too fast, it's not a good review, a chapter review.
All right. So a lot of people have a habit of having a calendar, a physical calendar.
Correct.
Do you have a physical calendar?
I bought an agenda about a week ago.
Okay.
And I have all my stuff planned. What I was gonna write I was gonna write today is like to have a meeting with you today.
Right. Okay.
But I'll just keep that one in mind because that was pretty important.
All right.
But if I have something due on Monday in the afternoon and that I know I'm not gonna remember, I have an agenda and I write it. I write everything on it, every note, all the notes. If I'm gonna do more than 4 or 5 things in a week, then I write it down the whole week.
Okay.
And I start checking things off. Check it daily.
Do you find that calendar has kept you more organized?
Yes, because sometimes I realize the night before, and it's and I'm like, I'm not prepared.
So do you carry it everywhere with you?
I'll carry my backpack and I go to school every day.
Okay, so what's your morning routine like?
Shower, breakfast.
Okay.
Pack my stuff for school. I don't want to go to school and be like, I forgot my calculator.
Okay.
And then it's testing time, and
Okay.
just kind of have at night have it prepared, and then just kind of go over on Monday what I have. My work it's just Mondays and Wednesdays I don't go to work. The rest of the days I have everything in my backpack.
Okay. So the reason I'm asking if you have a morning routine is because do you check your calendar the night before and prepare it, and then you recheck it in the morning, first thing in the morning, to make sure that you essentially have a checklist to, okay, check backpack, or check if you have anything in there, to go ahead and make sure that you have everything in your backpack?
Correct. It's kind of like a natural thing to have my notebooks and my textbooks for each class.
Okay.
But checking my agenda, I check it every day after class.
Okay.
After class, that's when I check my agenda. When I have my backpack open, I see my agenda, I'm like, okay, wait, do I have anything after class, or tomorrow after class, or 2 days, 3 days from now?
Okay. So, with that being said, you don't necessarily have a set morning routine, but you do follow some sort of pattern, and you do have habits.
Correct.
And you're slowly starting to change your habits of procrastination and being more of a prepared individual. Okay.
Yes.
So that's what I see. Okay. Do you have any questions that you wish that I would have asked you?
No. Everything's perfect.
Okay. Do you have anything that you want to share with the audience from your perspective? If a student or a professional is trying to become successful and they're trying to change their point of view or their mindset, that you want to share with them that you think might help them achieve that?
Well, back when I was in high school, I was in philosophy, and they should probably watch a video about allegory of the cave. It's an allegory.
Allegory of the cave.
Correct.
Okay.
And it's about just four cavemen that were facing the wall, and they had a fire right behind them. And since they were little, it's an allegory. Since they were little, they've been told to just they've been locked up, so they can't move. They can only see the wall, and there's a fire behind them. So all they know is just by the shadows. Okay. All their information comes from the shadows, and their whole life it's an allegory. They've been living by the shadows. And one day, one of the cavemen get released into the outside of the cave, and they see the world. They see that the shadows they were just living by the shadows. They see that the caveman that was let free, he sees reality, and he sees that these guys were still living by just the shadows.
Exactly.
Correct. And this guy comes out to the sun. He sees that the sun was the main source of energy.
Okay.
Instead of the fire.
Okay.
And then there's more out there. Then there's more out there than just the shadows on the wall.
Okay.
And the caveman comes back and tries to explain to them that there's more out there. There's more. This is a cave. You guys are just watching just the shadows of a little source of light. There's more out there. There's trees. There's buildings. There's mountains. But the cavemen that were trapped in there, they're stubborn. They're like, no, this is what we live by. So they're stuck. Their mentality is kind of stuck in there. And so the guy that was released goes back in the wild, and he has his life. He knows what life is now. So what I'm saying is, like, I'm trying to brief it into like
get out of your cave and start living.
Correct. Don't be that stubborn, the 3 stubborn cavemen, and try to just don't go by where you're living, or try to explore more around. Try to, whatever you see is not sometimes like whatever.
All there
like
is.
Yeah, all there is. Like right after high school, if you're like, I gotta work, you don't. That's not exactly what you have to do.
Okay.
If you go to school, you'll see that there's another way of living.
Right.
There's more than just go to work, and there's more than just work from 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, or 6 days a week.
So try to explore the world and be better at learning something new every day, if possible.
Correct.
Is that what you're trying to say? Okay. What is your definition of success?
Just like, for example, when I'm successful, I'll be doing whatever I love to do. For like, when have you ever heard like, you're not working when you're doing what you love? Yeah. That's kind of like success.
So when you're doing what you love and you don't feel that it's work, but you're getting paid, correct. That is your definition of success.
I'll be happy. And plus I'm getting paid.
Okay.
That's success for me.
Okay. One other question: if you had the possibility of, going back in time, let's say you have a time machine, and you jump in it, and all of a sudden you can go back to that 10-year-old Bryan, what would you say to that young boy?
Stay in school.
Stay in school.
Stay in school. And my parents, I have to stay. We have to stay in school. My parents always tell you, "Oh, stay in school," but nobody ever takes it serious until you like after 2-3 years into out of school, high school. That's when I should have stayed in school. I should listen to all those people that they said, "Oh, stay in school and stay in school." You never take it serious until you 2-3 years into out of high school. That's when I should have listened to them. Just listen from, not from experts, listen from older people.
Okay.
Because most of the time it's true. They're more experienced than you.
So find a mentor, essentially, somebody that you admire or that you feel that has those intrinsic values, that has made them successful. Learn from them, mimic them, ask a lot of questions, and
Correct.
see what works for you in your personal life and apply it.
Correct.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, like my mom always tells me, like, "Oh, don't be the kid that touches the stove. Be the one that learns from the kid that's burning his hand."
Okay,
You know?
so learn from the others that have gone before you through their experiences.
Correct.
Okay, all right. Well, thank you so much, Bryan.
Thanks.
Thank you for being with Success Innovation. Thank you to our audience here. This is going to be a video. This is a video podcast, but you will also have an audio version of this podcast. So once again, the fee is if you know one other person, and if you have found value in this video, in this episode, please share with one other individual, and they will also learn with us. Help us grow the community through Success Innovation. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time. Thank you for making it through another wonderful episode of Success Innovation. I encourage you to register for the October 18th live event, which will take place in Hilltop High, and it will be the app creating session. Once again, you will find this information in the description of the video. Also, register and subscribe for the YouTube channel as well as the podcast audio version. Thank you so much.